Virginity. What is it? And what's the big deal about losing it? Let me cut to the chase. Virginity is a completely made-up concept. It's a term that was created simply to control and shame people, mainly women. A virgin is someone who's never had sex, but it's not as simple as it seems. For one thing, medically, virginity isn't a real thing. In some cultures, people place a lot of importance on the hymen, a thin, fleshy tissue located at the opening of your vagina, as a marker of virginity. But the status of your hymen doesn't actually mean anything. That's because having penis and vagina sex is not the only way a hymen can stretch open. It can happen by putting something in your vagina like a tampon or a finger, riding a bike, or doing sports. So you can't tell if someone's had sex by the way their hymen looks or feels.
Well, I guess since no one wanted to touch her, the bicycle did it for her. Go to iknowgodmerch.com and put in code JOHN316 and receive 20% off for a limited time. Come on, put something in the shopping cart. Help a brother out. Welcome to Disturbing the Peace with Pastor John Amanchukwu. I'll be the first to tell you this. What we just saw with this lady claiming that a hymen has nothing to do with the status of a lady's virginity and all of that stuff. Listen, there was only one individual who had an immaculate conception. And trust me, this lady ain't no Mary. But you know, these are some of the lies, the intentional plans that Planned Parenthood uses to dupe young people around the country. Now, we're going to go back to that video, but I want to share some things with you from the Planned Parenthood website. In particular, what role does Planned Parenthood play in sex education? Planned Parenthood education staff reach 1.2 million people each year, most of whom are in middle school and high school. Get that. Individuals like this person, I don't even know her name. I would make up one, but I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to be nice tonight. But individuals like this person go into public schools, middle schools and high schools, and they teach children about sex. It says Planned Parenthood education departments around the country provide a range of programming options, including evidence-based and evidence-informed education programs that have been proven to work, peer education programs, promoters programs, and other community-driven culturally relevant health education programs, parent-family education programs, and LGBTQ-focused programs for LGBTQ youth and their parents and or their caregivers. There it is right there. Training of professionals, including educators and school staff, community-based organization staff, and faith-based leaders. Now, you have to be a fool, a pastor, senior pastor, whatever, to allow Planned Parenthood to gain access to your local church and to teach your children anything. Now, Planned Parenthood is one of the largest purveyors of sex education in the country in the first place. But they're also one of the leading places where babies go to die. Hear me. The sexualization of our children is intentional. I travel to school boards around the country talking about topics just like this. And there's an intentional plan. Let's sexualize the child at the age of 5. Let's get him or her mixed up in their feelings and their emotions. Let's compile what's going on in their body hormonally in the first place. And let's one day make them a potential customer for Planned Parenthood, as that child may consider going to the abortion clinic and paying the hitman to kill their baby. And so don't be fooled. Planned Parenthood has a plan, and the plan is not to support mama. No, mama, Planned Parenthood does not want to support you. Planned Parenthood wants your money, and Planned Parenthood wants to kill your baby. Also, take a look at this. Nearly everyone wants young people to get sex education, according to Planned Parenthood. In fact, over 90% of parents support sex education in both middle and high school. Now, that's a lie. I don't believe at all that 90% of parents support sex education in both middle and high school. Now, I need to do a poll on that. You all who are watching, can you post something in the comments? Do you support this 2-liter bottle lady in this video? Would you support her teaching sex education to your child? Post something in the comments. I don't believe that 90% of parents support that kind of stuff, especially coming from Planned Parenthood. Now, it's clear that Planned Parenthood has a strong focus on equity in sex education. Planned Parenthood supports equity in sex education. Planned Parenthood also believes in making sex education more equitable. What in the world is that? I mean, how are you going to have equity in sex? What does that mean? To the girl who can't pull a guy, we need to make sure that she gets screwed enough? I mean, come on, man. Equity in sex. Well, since your body count is too low and you haven't received enough penis, we need to make sure that we get your body count up. I mean, is that what we're doing? Say something to me. Put something in the comments. Talk to me. I need help. I need help. I need help. I need help. For example, LGBTQ plus youth deserve to learn in settings that are inclusive of their experiences. So we need to transform these middle schools and high schools into sanctuaries for boys who are homosexual, for girls who are lesbians. If the boy has a propensity to lust after another boy, we need to make it comfortable for them to express their feelings and be the ballerina that they so long to be, and to hear the necessary, I got dizzy a little bit, and to hear the necessary things that's going to help that young man continue down the path of being a homosexual. Now, how foolish does that sound? It says far too many LGBTQ plus youth are sitting in classrooms where their teachers and textbooks, oh gosh, fail to address their experiences. Thomas deserves to learn about anal sex at school. Oh, he deserves it. He deserves to hear about it. What are we going to do? Listen, this is foolish. This is foolish. All coming from Planned Parenthood, who says that 90% of parents want sex education to be taught in schools. Man, I'm not buying it. Planned Parenthood teamed up with other sex education advocates to call on educators to make sex education LGBTQ inclusive. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear it? They teamed up with other organizations to make sex education LGBTQ inclusive. So now children, they're not going to hear about heterosexual sex. They have to hear about all of the other stuff. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that kids don't need to hear about heterosexual sex and or homosexual sex. We need to get all of that junk out of the public school system in the first place. Let's go back to this video. Check this out.
Another reason the idea of virginity is complete nonsense is that sex means different things to different people. Generally speaking, society tends to define sex in a very narrow way: penetration, penis into vagina. But where does that definition leave queer people? Or folks who can't or don't have penis and vagina sex?
All right, cut. Check this out. People define sex in different ways. I mean, come on here. The dog defines sex as sex. The cow. I don't know, the praying mantis. The ant. Everybody understands what sex is. They have a good comprehension of what it means. But this 2-liter bottle that we're looking at, this lady here, I mean, she's just messed up. She's just messed up. And they could have picked someone better. I mean, my goodness. I mean, just the whole thought of sex while listen to her talk about sex. I mean, it do this to you. I mean, the idea goes from like this to wah, wah, wah. I mean, you don't want to hear anything about sex coming from her. I mean, it's like, oh my goodness. All right. Roll it again.
And choose to have oral, anal, or another type of sex instead. And not everyone's first sexual experience is consensual, meaning that they were forced or pressured into having sex. There is also a double standard on who carries the burden of virginity.
See? Did you hear it? Microphone check 1. Are y'all listening to me? Are y'all seeing what's going on? What about the queer people who choose not to have the normal style of sex and penetration or whatever? What about the queer people? So in sex education, in middle schools and high schools, Planned Parenthood is supporting, well, you know, we got to teach you other ways to be freaky. We got to have conversations about you doing all kinds of stuff. This is not education. This here, my friend, is indoctrination. This is grooming. This is why we see a strong uptick in the number of children who have gender dysphoria, who are confused and mixed up in their brains and their brain, because we have idiots like this coming into the public school system and talking to them about all kinds of things that they should not even discuss in front of a child.
Virginity. Society puts pressure on men for not having sex at the exact same time they shame women for having it. Make it make sense. Either way, shame has no place in someone's personal decisions about sex. It's time to throw away the notion of losing your virginity. What if instead of losing something, we reframe it as gaining? Because the truth is, when we make our own decision to become sexually active, we aren't setting ourselves up to lose anything at all. We hope we are.
Did you hear what she said? Did you hear it? It's not about losing something. It's about gaining something. It's not about a 13-year-old girl losing her virginity. No, Samantha, who's in middle school. This corrupt person, this pervert wants to teach you that, oh no, in the 8th grade, in the 9th grade, there's nothing wrong with you giving your body to a young boy who probably couldn't even take you to McDonald's and order you something off of the discount menu. I mean, if he went, he had to get his parents to take him in the first place and use their money. It's not about losing something. It's about gaining something. See, look at it. That's a trick. That's a trick of the devil. You're not losing. You're gaining. That is demonic. I mean, I don't know about you, but my blood boils when I think about this, what they're doing to kids. My righteous indignation rises up in me. This is sinister. Call the cops and make sure you get an SUV when you arrest her, because you might have to put her in the trunk. But this is vile. This is corrupt. Roll the footage.
Gaining things like intimacy, self-insight, pleasure, and empowerment. All of these myths around sex and virginity can be so hurtful and overwhelming. But here's the one truth you should remember. Sex is defined by one thing and one thing only: you. Maybe that's being fingered for the first time. Maybe it's having anal sex. Maybe it's having your first orgasm. Maybe it's masturbating for the first time, or when you enthusiastically consent to sex. That's the beauty of your sexual journey. You're in charge, and you can figure it out on your own terms. Choosing to have sex, when, what kind, where, who with, is something that only you get to define.
It's rare. It's rare that I'm at a loss for words. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. It's all about you. You. As if our kids need to hear more about what's best for them, living their best life and sowing their wild oats and doing everything that they so long to do, and chasing your passion and chasing your lust. You know, the Bible says all that's in the world is the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. That's all that's in the world. And so Planned Parenthood teaches kids that it's about you. It's not about losing. It's about gaining. Gaining what? Intimacy. Gaining an orgasm. Getting your rocks off. It's about you, Samantha. Do you, boo-boo? Do you? Gain. Enjoy. Catch gonorrhea. Get syphilis. Have pus bumps all over your mouth. That's right. Catch HIV young. That's what it's about. And if you don't do that, get pregnant. And the same people who are teaching sex education to kids will be right there waiting with loving open arms when Samantha gets knocked up at 14. And they'll be there to coddle her and hold her and say, Samantha, we love you, and we just want you to know that for $400 we'll kill your baby. That's it. That's the message. Planned Parenthood is trash. Don't support them. Listen, thank you for joining. Thank you for tuning in. Whatever you do, don't forget to disturb the peace. And now that you've watched this video, how about watching the next video? God bless you.